Have you ever wondered if love could happen between two people from completely different worlds? What if your driver, someone who works for you, suddenly told you that he loved you? What would you do? Hi there. Welcome to my channel English Tone, where we share interesting stories to help you learn English in a fun and easy way. Today, we're going to talk about an incredible story that shows us how love can grow between two people, no matter where they come from. Let's dive into the story of Rachel and her driver, Janson, and see how their love story unfolded. My name is Rachel, and I'm 24 years old. I live in a large, beautiful house in Los Angeles, where life always feels busy and full of surprises. My family runs a successful business, and I've grown up with all the comforts one could dream of. Despite all this, I've always longed for a genuine connection with people who see me for who I am, not for the wealth I come from. Janson became our driver about a year ago. My father had been looking for someone trustworthy to drive us safely wherever we needed to go. After a lot of searching, he met Janson through a family friend who highly recommended him. Janson had worked as a driver before and was known for being responsible and kind. My father liked him right away and decided to hire him. When Janson first came to our house, he was very quiet and polite. He didn't talk much, but he always greeted everyone with a warm smile. He was in his late 20s, tall, and had a simple yet charming personality. He wasn't just polite to me, but treated everyone in the household with respect. Over time, I began to notice how kind he truly was. If someone needed help, Janson was always ready to lend a hand, whether it was carrying groceries or fixing something small around the house. He never lost his temper, even when things got stressful. Whenever I felt upset or had too many things on my mind, just being around Janson helped me feel calmer. He had a way of making people feel safe and cared for, even with just a few kind words. It was clear that he wasn't just a good driver. He was a genuinely good person. During our long drives, we began having small conversations. At first, we talked about simple things like music and books. I was amazed when I found out that Janson, my driver, loved poetry. He even wrote poems in his free time. His words were simple, but they had a deep meaning that touched my heart. As time passed, our conversations became more meaningful. Janson started sharing stories about his life. He told me about his childhood and how hard it was after his father passed away. Janson had to work to help his family, even when he was young. I admired how strong and determined he was, even though he never bragged about it. What I liked most about Janson was how he listened to me. I could share my worries and dreams, and he never judged me. It felt comforting to have someone who truly cared and understood me. These moments made me realize how special Janson was. One evening, the sky was filled with beautiful colors as the sun went down. The orange and pink clouds looked like a painting, and everything felt peaceful. Janson, our driver, stopped the car near a quiet hill where we could see the whole city below us. The air felt different that evening, as if something important was about to happen. Janson turned to me. His eyes were serious but kind, and he looked nervous. His hands were slightly shaking as he began to speak. "Rachel," he said softly, his voice not as steady as usual, "I know I am just your driver, and this might not make sense, but I can't keep it to myself anymore. I have fallen in love with you." I sat there completely still. His words repeated in my mind, and I could feel my heart beating faster. Was this real? Janson, my driver, in love with me? It felt unbelievable, almost like a dream I couldn't wake up from. I didn't know what to say or how to react. Everything around me seemed to pause for a moment. When Janson told me he loved me, I didn't know what to say. I felt confused and unsure of how to react. On one hand, Janson was someone I trusted a lot. He had become a good friend, and I really respected him. He always listened to me and cared about my feelings. I started to admire him not just for his kindness, but also for his honesty and hard work. But on the other hand, I felt that being in love with him might not be accepted by others. I had grown up with certain ideas of who I should love and who was right for me. My family and society expected me to be with someone from the same background as me, not a driver like Janson. So, I felt torn between my feelings for him and the expectations I had grown up with. That night, after Janson left, I lay in bed wide awake. I couldn't stop thinking about what he had said. His words kept playing in my head over and over. I thought about love, about how it makes people feel happy, safe, and understood. I asked myself, does love really care about who someone is or where they come from? I kept wondering if love could be strong enough to break the rules that society had set for us. Could love truly go beyond differences like class or family background? It was a question that made my heart race, and I knew I needed to think about it more. Over the next few days, I started to keep my distance from Janson. I needed some time to think about my feelings. I wasn't sure what to do because everything seemed so complicated. I kept trying to ignore what I was feeling inside, but the more I tried, the more I realized that I really cared about him. Janson's honesty and kindness made me feel safe, and his support helped me more than anyone else's. I began to understand that what I was feeling for him was not just friendship, it was something deeper. Finally, I knew I needed to talk to him. So, one day, I took a deep breath and said to Janson, I don't know where this will go, but I can't pretend anymore. I care about you a lot. Let's take it one step at a time and see where it leads. When he heard those words, Janson's smile was so bright it felt like the sun was shining just for us. It was the happiest moment I'd had in a long time, and I knew I had made the right choice to be honest about my feelings. Our journey wasn't easy at all. When my family found out about Janson and me, they were very angry. They didn't understand why I liked him or why I wanted to be with him. They thought it was wrong because he was our driver, and they didn't want me to be with someone like him. My friends also didn't understand. They asked me why I was making this choice. Some of them didn't support me, and I even heard whispers when I walked by. It felt hurtful, and I started to feel very unsure about everything. People were judging me, and it was hard to ignore. But through all of this, Janson was there for me. He didn't leave me. He stayed by my side, showing me how much he cared. His love made me feel stronger, and his patience helped me to believe in myself. He didn't let me give up on what I believed was right. Even though it was hard, Janson's support gave me the courage to keep going and not let others stop me from being happy. Over time, my family began to understand who Janson really was. They saw that he was not just a driver, but a kind and strong person with a lot of good qualities. It took some time for them to realize this because they had different expectations, but eventually they saw how much Janson cared for me and how hard he worked. Love has a special way of helping people see beyond differences and misunderstandings. Even though it was hard at first, we didn't give up on each other. Today, Janson and I are building a life together. Our life is full of trust, which means we believe in each other, respect, which means we treat each other kindly, and understanding, which means we listen and try to understand each other's feelings. All these things help make our relationship strong and happy. This story taught me a very important lesson. Love doesn't look at who you are or where you come from. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, or if you're famous or unknown. What really matters in love is the connection between two people, how they feel about each other, how much they care for each other, and how they support each other. In the story, Janson, the driver, and Rachel, the girl from a rich family, showed us that even though they came from very different worlds, their feelings for each other were strong and real. They didn't care about their differences. What mattered was that they cared for each other deeply. Sometimes love stories can surprise us. They can happen between people who we least expect. True love can grow in the most unexpected places, even between a rich girl and her driver. This teaches us that love is about kindness, respect, and understanding, not about money or social status. So, the story reminds us that love can happen anywhere, and the most important thing is how two people feel about each other, not what others think. As I look back at everything that happened, I realize how far Janson and I have come. We've faced so many challenges: family pressure, societal expectations, and our own doubts. But through it all, our love has only grown stronger. We learned that true love doesn't follow the rules set by others. It's about finding someone who makes you feel complete, who supports you through thick and thin, and who accepts you for who you truly are. Today, Janson is not just my partner, he's my best friend, my rock. And together, we've proven that love has no boundaries. No matter where you come from or what people think, if your heart is in the right place, anything is possible. I hope our story inspires you to follow your heart, no matter where it leads. Sometimes the best things in life come when you least expect them. Thank you for reading my story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more amazing stories on my channel, English Tone. Stay tuned for more heartwarming tales and life lessons.